Monday, everybody. Whether you're joining us live or watching this later, I hope you had a fabulous weekend. Today's episode is pre recorded as I am currently out of the country in Helsinki, Finland. However, I did not want to miss the opportunity to share these important cases with you. I am Teri True Crime, and welcome to Midday Missing, where we bring much needed attention to current missing person cases. If you're new here, True Crime and Wine Time Productions offers a range of shows, including the True Crime and Wine Time podcast, The Hey Ho Show, the investigation into the disappearance of Chase Lackey, Night Court, the transcripts, of course, Midday Missing, and we recently premiered Dearest Mother's Darkest Secrets for our channel members with the public release set for tomorrow. Now, starting October 1st, several of our shows will be exclusively available on our YouTube channel. But rest assured, Midday Missing will continue to stream on both YouTube and Facebook. And we go live several times a week. So be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you stay up to date on all of our content. You definitely won't want to miss what's coming up next. I also plan, while I'm in Finland, to pop in when I can and do a quick live and share with you what's going on my trip. So hitting that notification bell will make sure you don't miss. Also, join our paid channel for exclusive content and early access to episodes before anyone else. So support us and become a part of the True Crime and Wine Time community today. So let's jump right in. Robert Joseph Fritz, affectionately known as Bobby, was just 5 years old when he disappeared from his neighborhood in Campbellsport, Wisconsin on May 14th, 1983. Bobby was last seen playing in an empty lot besides the Mill Pond / Milwaukee River, just a short distance from his home on East Main Street. He lived there with his mother and 4 of his siblings, while his father and 2 of his brothers resided in Illinois. Bobby was a typical happy child who loved pedaling his big wheel in front of his mother's house. He was known for curling up in her arms, seeking the warmth and comfort only a mother could provide. On that fateful day, Bobby and his sister joined a group of friends in a large open field near the St. Joseph Convent in the Mill Pond. Like I said, approximately half a block from their home. At some point between 2:30 and 4:30 p.m., Bobby told his sister that he was hungry and he was heading home. But Bobby never made it home, and he has never been seen again. When the Fritz children were called home for supper, Bobby was conspicuously absent from the table. Panic, as you can imagine, quickly set in, and the family and neighbors searched this area. The search for Bobby intensified as night fell, and a neighbor called the police around 5:15 p.m., which initiated a chaotic and desperate search that would envelop the entire community. Now, guys, I can't help but think, can you imagine what his sister must have felt when he went missing? And I can't imagine it was easy on her then or that it's ever been easy on her. All that was found was the toy gun Bobby had been playing with earlier. Despite an exhaustive search of the Milwaukee River and the Mill Pond, there was no sign of Bobby. Authorities initially feared he had drowned, but when no trace of him was found, the possibility of abduction became the focus. Now, the Fritz family was already dealing with the aftermath of a bitter divorce when Bobby disappeared. His father had remarried just a week after Bobby's disappearance, raising suspicions that he might have been involved. However, after a thorough investigation, authorities found no evidence linking Bobby's father to the case, and both parents were eventually cleared as suspects. The case, unsolved for over 3 decades, has left a mark on Wisconsin investigators because they have spent weeks poring over hundreds of old police reports, criminal court records, and newspaper archives in an effort to understand why this case remains unsolved. Advances in DNA technology have offered a glimmer of hope that the truth about what happened to Bobby might one day be uncovered. Solving this mystery would not only bring closure to Bobby's family and the investigators who have dedicated years to their case, but also the residents of Campbellsport who have lived with the fear that a predator may have once roamed their town. A year after Bobby's disappearance, sex offender Michael Scott Minzer emerged as a suspect. Minzer, who had been convicted of sexually abusing a 10-year-old boy in 1980, lived alone at the historic Waldo Mill, less than 20 miles from Campbellsport. A search of Minzer's property uncovered disturbing evidence, including boxes of children sexual abuse images, news clippings about Bobby's abduction, decayed remnants of children's clothing, and some small bones. However, it could not be determined whether the bones were human, and no direct evidence linking Metzer to Bobby's disappearance was found. Now, in 1990, Minzer burned down the Waldo Mill, killing his two young stepsons, aged 7 and 8, in the process of burning it down. He had previously been acquitted of sexually assaulting the boys, but was later convicted of arson and murder, receiving a 40-year prison sentence. Now, Minzer died of cancer in 2008, taking any secrets he may have had about Bobby's fate to his grave. Bobby's mother remained unsure if Minzer was involved, noting that he never cooperated with the investigation. Guys, I have said over and over and over, I don't understand why there is not some way that we can compel people to talk. Despite the exhaustive search efforts and investigation, Bobby's fate remains a mystery. The case has grown cold, with no new leads or updates provided to the Fritz family in years. In August 2016, Bobby's sister, Laura Engel, sought access to her brother's case files, only to be denied by the sheriff's department, which claimed the case remained active. However, during an unrelated Fond du Lac County murder trial, it was revealed that the original investigation files on Bobby's case may have been lost or destroyed. Guys, I have a problem with the fact that many years have gone by and they still will not release the file to the family or to a private investigator. That seems wrong to me. Former District Attorney Daniel Kaminsky testified that he had heard from multiple sources, including former detectives, that the case file had been shredded. Despite this, in 2023, police sent some physical evidence to a lab in Texas for DNA testing, offering a faint hope that science might finally shed light on what happened to Bobby. Both of Bobby's parents have since passed away, but his siblings continue to seek answers and hold out hope that one day they will find out what happened to their beloved brother. If you have any information regarding Robert Bobby Fitz, please call 1-800-843-5678. A missing person flyer with an age progression photo will be on our True Crime and Wine Time Facebook page. Please share and help get the word out. Next up, we're going to talk about Jonathan Tyrone Granison Bradley. He was known to his family and friends as Johnny, and he was last seen on May 5th, 2005, after being discharged from a hospital in Rochester, New York. Now, he had checked at the hospital on May 4th and stayed overnight, leaving the facility at 7:30 a.m. the following morning. Despite his release, Johnny never made it home and has not been heard from since. At the time of his disappearance, Johnny was driving his grandmother's car as his own vehicle was being repaired. His grandmother's car was later found abandoned just 2 blocks away from his father's home in Rochester. The car was discovered in running condition and it provided no further clues to his whereabouts. Johnny's father, Ray Bradley, expressed deep frustration with the handling of his son's case. The family found the abandoned car themselves and immediately reported it to the authorities. However, it is said the police took 3 days to respond and tow the vehicle. Guys, that is a problem. That is a piece of evidence. 3 days is inexcusable. During that time, they did not treat the car as a potential crime scene. No fingerprinting was done, the trunk wasn't checked, and no immediate investigation was launched. So I want you to think about that. Family calls the police and says, "Hey, Johnny is still missing, but we found the car he was driving abandoned." They didn't go check it immediately. What if he was in the trunk? Think about that. So, police, you need to do a better job. 2 days after Johnny was last seen, his credit card was used in Miami, Florida to purchase fast food and attempted to rent a car. Despite this, there were no significant follow ups by the police, leaving Johnny's family disheartened and feeling that his case did not receive the attention it deserved. Guys, I agree because rental car places do have cameras. They do record everything. I don't know how long they keep them, but police should have followed up on that. Now, at the time of his disappearance, Johnny was receiving Social Security payments, but he never collected any further payments after May 2005. And Johnny lived with his grandparents and was very close to his family. His father described him as a loner with a few friends outside of his cousins. So basically, his cousins were his friends. Johnny's health had been fragile since a tragic accident when he was just 5 years old. He accidentally swallowed oven cleaner, which caused severe damage to his esophagus and digestive tract. Okay, guys, I tried to find out more about that because I want to know how you accidentally swallow oven cleaner. Because I don't know. Maybe back then, oven cleaner was liquid and not a spray. I don't know. But over the years, he underwent approximately 15 reconstructive surgeries to repair the damage. Despite these surgeries, Johnny's health remained precarious and he required daily medication to sustain his life. His failure to refill his prescriptions since he disappeared adds to the concerns about his well being, as going without this medication would likely have had serious, if not fatal, consequences. In May 2024, nearly 2 decades after Johnny's disappearance, his father, Ray, held a rally outside the Rochester Public Safety Building to raise awareness for his son's case. Ray has been tireless in his efforts to find answers, even founding the organization Missing the Missing in 2012. The organization was created to help families in similar situations gather information about their missing loved ones by partnering with police and the community. Despite his relentless advocacy, Ray has not received any updates on Johnny's case since 2012, leaving this family without closure and still searching for answers. Guys, I have said this before. I do not understand why police do not keep in touch with the families. That is the least you can do. Johnny's case remains unsolved, and his family continues to seek justice and closure for a son, brother, and loved one who vanished without a trace. If you have any information regarding Jonathan Granison Bradley, known as Johnny, please call the Rochester Police Department at 585 428 6595. Also, I'm going to ask you to share his missing person flyer, which will also be on our Facebook page. Now, since I'm currently in Helsinki, Finland, I thought I would share the two missing person cases in Finland. Now, these are the two most publicized cases, but when I say the most publicized, I want you to understand that people do not go missing in Finland like they do in the US. And the majority of people listed as truly missing went to Russia or the Ukraine and just lost touch with their family. These are the two true missing person cases. And I am going to apologize up front. Even though I've been working for a Finnish company for 4 years, I still struggle to pronounce some of their names. So I am going to ask everyone to forgive me, especially my Finnish friends and coworkers. Piia Irmeli Ristikankare, okay, I'm going to try that again. Ristikankare, born December 18th, 1972, was a 15-year-old girl from Piia, Finland, who vanished on October 7th, 1988. Her disappearance still remains one of Finland's most unsolved cases of any crime. October 7th, 1988 began as a typical Friday for Piia, who was studying housekeeping at a vocational school. Okay, guys, I have to stop right there. I personally would have studied some housekeeping at a vocational school because I will say I like to think I'm a decent housekeeper, but I'm probably not the best. I didn't know you can study that in a vocational school. And Double H probably thinks I maybe should have studied it as well, but oh well. Um, Piia had planned a sleepover with a friend in Pamo, but had to cancel because she had to babysit her 3-year-old brother. Pia's parents were divorced, and her mother had moved out of the family home a few years earlier. That evening, Pia's father was in the sauna with his father-in-law, while Piia stayed at home with her brothers, aged 3 and 14. A disagreement arose between the siblings over what to watch on television, leading Piia to leave the house, possibly with a small bag and some money. She has not been seen since. Now, over the years, several clues have surfaced along with numerous false sightings of Piia. In 2003, the National Bureau of Investigation took over the case. According to a childhood friend, Piia had been bullied at school due to her family's religious beliefs. The Ristikankare family were Jehovah's Witnesses. Despite numerous police searches, the family continued to live in the house from which Piia disappeared. In 2011, Piia was officially declared deceased in absentia, with her date of death recorded as January 1st, 2011. Now, next up, we have Raisa Marie Raisanen. She was born on March 10th, 1983. She was a 16-year-old Finnish teenager who went missing on October 16th, 1999 in Tampere, Finland. Her disappearance is widely regarded as the most notorious missing person case in Finnish history, and it is still unsolved. Now, she was declared dead in absentia on the 5th anniversary of her disappearance in 2004. On the evening of October 16th, 1999, Raisa was out celebrating with a friend. At 10:18 p.m., she called her boyfriend from her mobile phone, expressing her desire to join him at a house party in the suburbs if she could secure a ride. Before heading to the party, Raisa and her friends visited a restaurant in the city. Although they were only 16, they managed to gain entry using fake IDs. However, this visit was brief, lasting only half an hour, as Raisa's friend received a call from her boyfriend inviting her to that party in the suburbs. Now, I want you to stop, or I want to stop and say, in Finland, they can drink at 18. So don't think that a 16-year-old was passing as 21. You can drink at the age of 18 there. So Raisa's friend accepted a lift to the party from some friends, but Raisa was left behind due to lack of space in the car. Before leaving, her friend ensured that Raisa's phone was charged and gave her some money. The last confirmed sighting of Raisa occurred around 10:50 p.m. near the Soko's department store in central Tampere. After this, there were several unconfirmed reports of someone resembling her. The police believe that the CCTV footage from the area shows her in the city center around 11:50 p.m., which is about an hour after the last confirmed sighting. Now, interesting enough, during the time of her disappearance, Tampere was hosting a EU summit, which led to heightened security and increased police presence in the city. But despite the added security, the use of CCTV monitoring in 1999 was less comprehensive than it is today. I will say some places still have horrific CCTV. Over the years, investigators from the National Bureau of Investigation have explored over 3,000 clues and tips, considering numerous theories, and they have conducted extensive searches in local lakes and waterways. Despite multiple appeals to the public through the media, Raisa's disappearance remains unsolved. Now, the police have focused on three main lines of investigation. One is about an older woman. Two witnesses reported seeing someone matching Raisa's description walking with an older, heavyset woman heading away from the city center. After losing visual contact, the witnesses heard loud screams. Now, the police have been unable to identify this older woman or confirm her connection to Raisa's disappearance. In 2022, the police considered the possible involvement of convicted murderer Verpi Butt, questioning whether she could have been the older woman in question. The second theory is about a taxi incident. In 2015, a taxi driver came forward claiming that he had picked up a passenger matching Raisa's description around midnight. The girl appeared cold and frightened, and the driver recalled her saying, "I wonder what will happen to me." That's ominous. A shorter man of possibly Turkish origin then joined her in the taxi, and they were driven to the Multisilta suburb, which is about 10 kilometers away. This lead was considered promising, especially as eyewitnesses had reported seeing a woman resembling Ressa with a foreign man in the Tampere Center on the night of her disappearance. However, despite lots of attempts in the Multisilti area, the police were unable to locate this male passenger, and this tip, in theory, hit a dead end. Now, the final theory is the vintage car. Some eyewitnesses reported seeing someone matching Raisa's description either entering or being forcibly bundled into a black 1950s American car driven by a man in his 30s. In 2010, a witness came forward claiming that they had been told by someone that Raisa had been drugged by two men taken to a hall or a house in Kangasa, where they killed her and buried the body nearby. Although the police investigated the two men involved, they found no evidence connecting them to Raisa's disappearance. The case, initially investigated as manslaughter, is now being treated as a murder investigation. Under Finnish law, murder has no statute of limitations, unlike manslaughter, which expires after 20 years. Guys, I don't understand that. Manslaughter, murder, person was killed. I don't get why it expires, but I am going to be asking somebody while I'm there. As of November 2022, the head of the investigation, Jussi Luto, stated that while the case is not actively being investigated, authorities continue to respond to both old and new leads. All three main lines of investigation remain under consideration. Later developments, it was revealed in 2022 that I'm going to slaughter this, but Keskrisapasi has suspected Verpi Butt, a convicted murderer who died in 21, of being involved in Raisa's disappearance, but was active in the Tampere area at the time of Raisa's disappearance and matched the eyewitness description of the older, heavyset woman seen with Raisa. One of the witnesses even recognized Butt as the woman accompanying Raisa. Now, a street musician who was an acquaintance of Butt's told the police that he had encountered Butt in Tampere in either 1999 or 2000. According to the musician, Butt pulled a human head out of her backpack and presented it to him. Initially, he believed the head to be that of a mannequin and did not contact the police until 2006. Dude, someone pulls out a head. If you have any suspicion, go ahead and call the police. Just going to put that out there. The police found this testimony consistent with Butt's history, as she had dismembered a 29-year-old programmer, Carrie Antonin, in 2002 and presented the head to others. That's creepy, guys. Despite these disturbing details, the police have been unable to conclusively link Butt to Raisa's disappearance. As of 2024, the mystery of what happened to Raisa remains unsolved, leaving her family and the Finnish public with more questions than answers. Now, for our palate cleanser today, I thought I would share some very interesting facts about Helsinki, Finland. For those of you who don't know anything about Finland, first of all, Finland is known as the world's happiest country. And guys, it is easy to see why. I have loved every time I have been there. The people are amazing, friendly, kind, and they can be a little bit of a smartass like me sometimes. Now, Helsinki is the capital, and it is the coldest capital city in the Nordic region. Guys, burr, burr, burr. I will tell you, it gets hella cold there. It is not that cold right now, so I'm happy about that. Despite the chill, you will find saunas everywhere, from homes and office buildings to more, traditional locations like sauna places. But here's a fun fact. One of the private boxes at the Helsinki Arena even has a sauna where you can relax while watching an ice hockey game. Guys, that's pretty cool. They also have sauna cars in their huge Ferris wheel. So you literally can get undressed into your swimsuit, sit in a sauna while you go around the great big Ferris wheel. It's pretty cool. Double H and I did it when we were there previous year. We did not do the sauna cart. Now, Helsinki also boasts a unique Lutheran church carved directly into a rock. And guys, it is a true architectural marvel. And the city's tap water is some of the cleanest in the world. And guys, I can personally attest that it tastes amazing. You can drink straight out of the faucet in your hotel room. The water is that good. Finns are also among the biggest coffee drinkers globally. So, coffee lovers will feel right at home. Guys, they drink coffee before going to bed at night. I can't do it. I don't know how they do it. I can't, but they love their coffee. Now, Helsinki is renowned for its high quality of life, offering some of the best healthcare, education, and overall livability. It's fascinating that in Finland, it's common for parents to leave their babies outside to nap in the winter, even in sub zero temperatures. And this practice is rooted in Scandinavian tradition. It is believed to promote a child's development by exposing them to fresh air and nature. Some say babies sleep better and longer outdoors and are less likely to get sick from indoor microbes. Also, the calming sounds of nature, like chirping birds or rushing water, are also thought to help soothe the babies into a peaceful sleep. Now, guys, I will tell you, this would never work in the US because people would steal those kids. The very first time I went to Finland 4 years ago, and I saw outside of a restaurant prams lined up with babies in them while the parents were inside eating. I asked somebody, I'm like, "Well, can I just take one and take it home with me?" And they were like, "We don't do that here." So, I think that's kind of interesting because to them, it is perfectly normal for babies to be outside in their prams while their parents dine inside. Okay. And it is shocking, yet I think it's incredibly cool that they live in such an environment where trust is given to others. I We could not do that. I wouldn't even put my child out on the front porch in my neighborhood. So, I also have to add, the Finns are some of the nicest people I have ever met during my travels. This will be my 4th or 5th time in Helsinki, and I'm just as excited as I was the first time, if not more. But I want to thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday for our next episode of Midday Missing. In the meantime, be sure to join our Facebook group and follow us on all social media channels to stay connected. You can find us under True Crime and Wine Time or Teri True Crime on all the social media platforms. You can catch all of our productions right here on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to listen to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Now, remember, stay safe, watch out for crime, and please enjoy your wine time. Bye, guys.